Good morning, happy Monday. Here we go. Today is day 13, I think. I had it wrong on Friday. I was saying it was day 11 when it was actually day 12, so that makes today day 13. It's a Monday. And here we go. Trading there we go. All right, here we go. So day 13, live streaming every day until I can get a payout on 20 Apex accounts. Now we'll see, Apex rolled out a whole new program. They rolled it out yesterday, and so they changed rules. I think some of them were good, nothing too dramatic. Really, they look a lot like my funded futures right now, except for they pay out more. No profit split, which is cool, and the minimum payouts are pretty decent. So if you can trade within their very tight parameters, I think it can be pretty good. Anyway, I have 16 of the legacy accounts right now, and they are deep into drawdown. We had 8 of them that we took a loss early Friday on everybody, and then I took half of them off of the trade copier and only traded half the rest of the day, got them back up into profit for the day, a few dollars, $11 or something like that. So we'll see. This is tricky. So we're coming off the overnight open right now as we come into the open, and we just had a very big drop. So we've got a war going on right now, so that's that can make things tricky because get kind of crazy impulsive moves. Now that's a 45-point drop, which is actually not that big. So it did kind of, we got kind of that impulsive move down. Just looking at the 1 minute chart, right before the open, bounced off the overnight open, came off of that VWAP deviation line down there. So we'll see what happens. I think I'll go ahead and take the 3 minute break if it happens. If this first 3 minute candle though has the overnight open going right through the middle of it, I'm probably not going to take a breakout, simply because overnight open can be choppy. Okay, why don't I have, hold on. What? I don't have my Apex accounts in my, that is weird. I'm gonna turn off my chart trader, see if this. Okay, that's strange. That is strange. We have 1 minute. All right, hold on. I'm gonna have to restart NinjaTrader. For some reason, it's not. I don't have my Apex accounts in my account drop-down list. I'm connected. They're all there on the dashboard. I don't know what that's about. So just a sec. We're going to, let's see. I have to go dark here for a second while we do this. Stand by while we reset. This is not the way we want to start. I think it'll be okay. I really don't think I don't know. This opening range this morning makes me a little cautious just because of the, we had that strong push down right before the open, and that was kind of weird, so. Overnight open's an issue. Lots of things going on here. All right, where's all my charts? All right. if we can get this to work. All right, it says, oh, there's the break. But we weren't ready for it, so whatever. Oh, well. And there's a breakdown coming right down towards the low of day. Okay. We're ready to go now, I think. Okay, we've got everybody. That was I've never had that happen before. Connected Apex, and for some reason the Apex accounts were not showing up in my little account drop-down list on the chart trader. All right, well, we had a wick out of the open range, and now it's coming right back up in there. So we didn't miss out on much, fortunately. Oh, I'm on GC. Oh my goodness. I'm like, what is... I'm looking at my higher time frame charts. There we go. Okay, that's better. All right, forget that breakout. Oh, there's the breakout. There's actually a push up. Oh my gosh. Whew. I'm like, this isn't making any sense at all. It was at the low of day, but I'm looking at the daily chart. I'm like, we're nowhere near the low of day. We're pushing up. Okay, we did have a pretty impulsive move up. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so now that we're on the right instrument. Wow. We are still at the overnight open, so that, for whatever reason, is the only consistent thing. So we pushed up 240 points right here. Yeah, this is crazy. I would not have taken this breakout trade because 88 points of risk is too much. Way too much. Although it just, you know, impulsively blew up there, so it would have worked. Holy cow. Yeah, it might be a rough day. This might be a day to sit back and just watch it for a minute. Here's we are on the 3-minute chart right now. Waiting to see what happens. I don't know if this is just an impulsive move to the sky, then we'll just watch it happen. My very comfortable zip up hoodie on here, although as I look at myself I think of, help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our last hope. I don't know. All right, a little bit of a hesitation up here as we continue to impulse higher. I think I'm going to move to the 1-minute chart if we get a little pullback and a pop up. The one thing we have up here that's pretty juicy is we do have this this gap that needs to be filled. So when we opened up, there was a huge drop lower from this blue line here, yesterday's close, to the open way down here. We recovered, what, half of that gap? Kind of in the first several hours of trading last night up until about midnight, and then doop, continued down. So there is a gap to be filled. If we get a reasonable little pullback here, I might get in along looking at that gap. We'll see what happens. I like a strong push up, but I do need a little bit of a pullback. I don't want to just jump in on something. Right now we're pretty big candles. That last candle looks tiny, but it was 35 points. So although trading one micro, only have ranging from $38 to $62. 39 to $62 in drawdown on the tightest accounts. The other accounts have about 3 times that or more. Just gonna try and recover these accounts. I don't want to give them up. There are 16 of them. The one nice thing is Apex is running a 90% off sale for the next week or so with their new rollout on the new accounts. So if these ones blow up, we'll start over again. I mean, that's that's how this works, but I really want to see if we can salvage these accounts. It would be better to not have to get new accounts, even if it takes a little extra time, I think. Pushing up, getting ready to break. Excuse me, break that prior candle. Yeah, no. Don't have stochastic confirmation. We had kind of a reversal candle on the close of that last 5 minutes, so I'm a little cautious. I think I'd like to kind of wait, see this develop a little bit. Pull back to that 21 EMA, that blue line would be ideal. What I don't want to do is I don't want to get suckered into an early entry that gets me stopped out. That typically is what I do. I get too anxious and I jump in too early, get stopped out, and then it comes back and goes where it's supposed to be. So I really want to wait for it to set up and tell me that's what it wants to do. So for instance, this current candle did dip below the prior candle and is pushed up. So it's kind of a good sign. Generally I like to see that where we've taken out a low and then wanted to go higher. If I'm getting in at the break of a high before it's taken out a low, it seems like a lot of times that's the fake out. This might be it here. Yeah, 27. Still, that's a big risk. All right, well, let me give it a try. Okay, I'm in micros. If this fails, it's gonna blow up account. So, but you know, stochastics come down to kind of the midpoint, so it's not ideal, but it's better than having it at the top. Not looking good, not looking good. Then we get a push. I think we do have 10 o'clock news. Yeah, we do have 10 o'clock news, so that's something to keep in mind too, I guess. Let's see. Probably don't want to... I'm gonna move my target up a little bit towards this high of day. So if we do go up here, it's likely we push a little bit, but doesn't seem like Getting a lot of resistance. And we're cooked, I think. No, we already lost 3 accounts, 4 accounts, 5 accounts. They're falling like crazy. Alright, back up. Come on, let's go. Alright, after this push up, I might move to... We got a close up here. I would move to break even and probably get stopped out for break even, but... Let's see. So you can see that I tightened up the columns over here so you can see the drawdown in these accounts. Up and down and up and down and up and down. There we go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. If it breaks the 15-minute range right now, then we could be looking at a little bit of a breakout here. So I'm gonna take that. That's 50 points, ladies and gentlemen. It's probably gonna rocket up there, and I will have left a lot on the table, but that's okay. So we did have some casualties. 5 accounts down, so I guess we're down to 11 accounts. 11 PA accounts. But we're up, what, 90 bucks ish across the board. So for the ones that had what, $60 in drawdown, we more than doubled their drawdown. So, you know, now we're pulling back a little bit. I'm a big fan of taking profits at impulsive moves like that. You get a candle that's really kind of pushing up there pretty strongly. I don't know. I like to take my profits because then when it starts to pull back, you start to get a little nervous. At least I do. And especially when the accounts are really tight like this, you really just have to take your profits. I think there's, you know, at some point you have to lock it in. And every trade isn't going to be a home run. So I'd say 50 points is a pretty decent move. And we did get fortunate. We had our stop loss in a place that, I mean, I'm going to say we got a little bit lucky because the stop loss was what, right down here. So we came right kind of to the stop loss. Didn't quite get it, which a safe stop loss would have been, you know, well below this candle a little bit, right? Maybe even below the below yesterday's low of day, which is kind of what we're above. You know, that would have been the safe spot. So I got lucky. It was lucky. I'll admit that. But the idea behind the trade was we had a smooth pullback into this green line, and not only did we have a smooth pullback to it, we settled there, and we settled there after a very, very strong uptrend. So we're not chopping up. This was an impulsive move up with kind of a strong pullback, and then it just sat. And so that's like, okay, now let's see if it'll come up. Stochastic didn't confirm. It wasn't in oversold territory, but it was down towards the midpoint. So even though price was sitting in the sideways, Stochastic was coming down, which is generally an indication that there could be some more upside. So that's what we did. And now we're breaking through that opening range. See if we can pop up there, fill that gap. For all the people holding this. I mean, if we're holding the 3-minute break, Look at that. You're looking at, 100 points right now off that off that opening range. You have to sit through it a little bit, but I think you'd be in profit the whole way. You could just set your stop there at break even if you were so inclined. That would be perfectly okay. Let's see how this plays out here. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. We're back holding the top of the 15-minute open range. All right, so what do we do from here? Do I keep trading these accounts or do I call that good? I mean, that's the best day that they've had in a while. What to do. All right, I think this is what I'm gonna do. We've got enough cushion in them. Let's see how this plays out. If there's good setups, we want to take them. So I think what I'm going to do, the one account, this guy right here, this account at the bottom has $800 of drawdown. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my leader account to one of the other accounts and then have the healthier account follow with slightly larger position size. So let's give that a try. So we'll see if we can get another little trade in there. We need to get these up to where they have enough drawdown that we can do 2 or 3 contracts, 2 or 3 micros on a breakout trade that would, potentially pay $300 or $400. $300 or $400 an account. I think that would be. I mean, that's kind of what we need to get to. So we're just going to kind of inch forward. So it's my healthiest account. All right, so we're gonna switch up our leader. Make sure we're set on micros, and then gonna make that healthy account. We're gonna do 5 times, so he'll be doing 5 micros versus. There we go. Should I change the leader? Okay, all right. I think we're set up. back to it then. All right, remember there is 10 o'clock news, so I don't want to get caught up in that. Glasses are getting dirty. All right, we did create a high. We pulled back to the 21 EMA. Stochastic is starting to get down out of the kind of the low point of where it's been all morning. So definitely keeping an eye on this one. 33 points gives us what's that? $70 in risk on one micro. It's kind of a lot. We are also underneath that 21 EM, or the 9 EMA, that green line. I kind of think, yeah, let's. Forgot to take the blown up accounts off the trade copier. We're not going to take as much of a. We're going to see if we can get. See, where could it go? I mean, it could pop from here up. You know, this could be the push up. The problem is we came, well, actually, you know, we came right to that high of day and just hesitated there. Honestly, if we had like 20 or 30 bucks, I would be happy with that. There's 20. Yeah. Take it. All right, so we're just looking for these little scalps, these little pops. That one worked again. All right, so now we're up $124. We'll call it 120 because it's kind of all over the place. All right, so once again, we got a little bit lucky. So this moved, well, it moved 25 points. I mean, the trick with them when the market's moving this much is you can, I mean, scalps can come kind of pretty easily if you take them in the right place, but if you're wrong, you can get smashed. You know, I mean, ultimately, I was taking. If we're looking at risk reward on this. You know, my risk was kind of the bottom of that candle. Yeah, so that was about my risk reward. So 0.5, so 0.5 to 2, so that's what, 1 to 4, 4 to 1. That's, which is not great. It's not really what you want to see, but because, you know, seemed like this was probably higher probability, which, you know, it worked out. And honestly, it's still kind of working out. It hasn't failed yet. So even though it did pull back inside this candle, it never came down to the stop area. So it's still kind of working. We'll see. We'll see how it ends up. For now, let's sit until after the news. Should we take a look at the other charts? Higher time frames, that's the daily chart. You can see that big gap there. This is what maybe we'll fill. We'll see. But we definitely broke below kind of this lower trend line here. So either on the daily chart, this is either kind of a fake out lower for a push up, or, you know, or maybe we're retesting the bottom of this little trend line for another leg down. We did not come down and take out this wick low on the daily. That's kind of interesting. I also don't know how much the news, this war situation is skewing the activity here. It's certainly playing a part. Hourly chart, you can see we have a strong push up on the hourly candle. A little bit of a bottom wick. Maybe looks like there's going to be a little bit of a top wick on this hourly candle as well. Again, just shy of the daily high. So that daily high is just kind of sitting there, uninterested at the moment. We'll see kind of what happens. What other time frames are there? 4 hour. That's another popular one. We got to configure that guy. 4 hours. So what is that? 420 minutes? Let's see. Can I add one? Add value based. What? No. What am I doing? Okay, we got a minute. We got a value. We got a 60 minute. Is this what we're changing? So if I go 240, does this give me a 4 hour chart? Oh, it does. Except I changed the one to, I don't want to do that. We still want a 1 minute chart. Come on. 1 minute chart. I mean, we could edit like the 4 minute. We don't need a 4 minute chart. We're a 2 minute chart. So let's make the 4 minute chart a 240 minute chart. And then move it down. This is what I do when I get bored. I start just messing around with stuff. All right, here's a 4 hour chart. I don't know what those lines are up there. Does it have channel lines in here somewhere? Hold on. That was weird. Okay. All right, well, definitely a bullish 4 hour candle. Nice reversal, bullish 4 hours. So I would say, I mean, looking at the 4 hour chart, this looks pretty bullish right here, right? We took out a low, strong reaction up. Now at the opening of this candle, we're pulling back, which you'd expect to see. So that's probably okay. The 1 hour chart's doing the same thing. 15 minute is, after a strong push, we had a little bit of consolidation and we're sort of hesitating here. So I don't know. We've got news right now. So we'll see what that does. Does that push us higher? We'll check. All right, let's bounce back over. All right. Okay. Well, we got a nice little bounce there off the news. This could be it. This could be the moment we've been waiting for. Is it going to break through? Thing is, if I would have taken the break of this candle, I would have already been out. So I'm not too excited about jumping back in. Especially stochastic is very, very overbought at this point. If we had wicked above the overnight open, I would probably, or not the overnight open, but the high of day. If we had wicked above this high of day, this green line, I think I would be tempted to go short because we're overbought up here. But until we take that out, I won't be looking at a short. So it could very easily just go back up there. Wait and see. 10 o'clock, we have 1 hour left. We're already pretty healthy, so there's no real reason to stretch for anything at this point. Okay, there's a tap into the high of day, an immediate rejection. So if it does go up and fill the gap, this could be choppy. I mean, it's definitely choppy right now. 38-point candle on the last 1 minute. So that's $700, or $70 rather. A little over $70. Guess you should round up. Should round up to 40 points and call it 80 bucks. I have to keep reminding myself, you know, what the risk is. You know, that last candle is about $80 a contract in risk. So for the ones going in 5 contracts, you're looking at 5 times that. You know, so 400 bucks. That's, you know, kind of a lot. Five times 8 is 40, right? Or is it 45? My brain is not mathing today. No, it is 400. Should stick with the instincts on that stuff. All right, so the 5-minute candle closed, and it closed green, but it had a wick. Long wick on the bottom, little wick on the top. See, now that we've taken out that high of day and we're getting a reaction lower, this is where I would be tempted to short. The closer your entry is to that kind of high of day, the better, because it keeps your stop super tight in case it's not done moving up yet. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was sort of grindy up here. No more news. I think the news is done with. So the news gave us a little push down, but that was immediately recovered. So that makes this technically a data low down here inside this pretty small range. So probably not too probably not interesting enough for me to mark it out at all on the chart. Oh, goodness. All right, it's getting tight. 2 inside bars here. Is this where we get the pop? Is it gonna explode up? Is it gonna fill that gap? It feels like there is no interest there at all. Time it wicks up there, it just comes straight back. I mean, we're wicking up by a relatively small amount every time. Oh, there we go, there we go. You can do it. All right, we held up above that. Where are you gonna go? Kind of like this music. It's mellow, but not too mellow. You have to bookmark this station. Oh, just nothing to do here. What does the 60-second chart look like? Or the 30-second chart? 30-second chart. So 30-second chart. Just like to see what kind of reactions we get, right? When we do get a little bit of a bounce, what is that bounce looking like? Are we getting 10 points? Are we getting 50 points? You know, this one here was what, 30, 40 points, 30 points. This one, after the news and the deeper retest, obviously went further, so it went almost 50. And still grinding a little bit higher. Very slowly, though. We never did come down to the top of this 3-minute range. Boy, this would have been a great play, and if you're just holding this open for that gap fill, you'd still be in it. Still be suffering through this nonsense. I always look at what goes on in the middle here. These ranges, so this kind of this high. Let's do this. This high to this low was 90 points. This high to this low was 95 points. So same basic range. And that was even with news, right? The news was what pushed this down. See, now we're kind of pushing up. So what is it the other way? Low to high is about 100 points. Well, I think we've already moved past that at this point, 115. But this is tricky because if you're feeling FOMO and you want to jump in on this, it could continue to grind higher. And I'd say there's probably a pretty good chance that it does, but there's also the distinct possibility that we get some exhaustion, we pull back again before we go higher, at which point you would have to either sit through a large drawdown or get stopped out in the process. One of the two. But it is still moving up. You have 3 minutes left in the 15-minute candle right here. The current 15-minute candle did take out the lower of the prior 15-minute candle. That happened right here. And then pushed higher. I mean, I would say that purple line right here, which on regular NQ is right at about 954, 24,954, just under 25,000. Yeah, so the 950s on NQ and, 953-ish on MNQ. Kind of where I'm curious to see what happens. I mean, we had some pretty impulsive moves right off the rip this morning that pushed us up here. So, probably not looking at shorts until we get a break kind of below this level here. Break below what, about the 800s. It is just being so slow. Come on. What is going on? Anything? Kind of want to turn on the news, maybe kind of watch what's going on in case anything crazy happens. Well, I think most of this stuff happens like middle of the night, early morning for us. What time is it in Iran? So it's 7 o'clock. It's almost 7 p.m. in Iran. So I don't know. Do airstrikes happen during the day, during the night? I'm not sure. But it seems like in the morning is when my feed is flooded with, hey, this just happened, that just happened, live from that kind of stuff. So it seems like there's a lot of activity happening kind of like in the early morning hours, maybe. For us, which I guess would be middle of the day there. Over in the Middle East, I don't know. Not really sure how all that's going to impact things. All right, getting a little bit of pullback. Didn't quite make it up there. Oh my gosh. And I'm watching gold. Gold's over here. It's got 100 tick 1 minute candles. It's crazy. It's wild. All right, so we are now getting a little bit of a bounce. We got a little bit of a deeper pullback. This red candle took out, this last candle took out the lows of the prior several candles. And so it's a little bit of a changing character here as we've been grinding up for the last 10 minutes or so. We did just have let's give it a try. Be really sad if this ripped back down and took away all my profits on the day. But we are grinding higher. Until we stop grinding higher, we are grinding higher. We're very bullish sort of across the higher time frames. So until such time as that changes character, I guess that's where we're at. See if we can get up here to I like the wicks on the top of these two candles right here. This is not no warm and fuzzies going on right now. Hoping the higher time frames hold. If we wick that gap, that yesterday's clothesline, I will definitely move to break even. No, this is, I may just jump out of this early because I am not loving it. Come on. Don't quit the grind right as soon as I get in. Really? Alright, well. This is sort of the test here. We got a long wick on a down close candle, not very bullish at all. $60 is what we're risking. There it goes. I got some slippage on that too. And that's what I was talking about, and I fell for it. Isn't that what I was saying over here? Not getting pulled into something early. That's like my number one sort of. That's my kryptonite, man. All right, we're back down to the 21. So you know what? Let's see what happens here. Yeah, let's see if we get a break. Oof, missed it. Got in late. Let's move to the bottom of that candle. This is going to be a very sad day if this one stops us out. Give back all our profits for the day. But we are coming off. We're coming off the 21. Stochastic is back down here again. We're still in this like uptrend. The only problem, I mean, who knows, right? This is kind of a choppy pull down into the line, which is not, you know, not picture perfect for sure. See if we get a little push. Don't need that much of this. Come on, take out this gap. And we're red for the day. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Why is it all over the place? Oh, because the ones I took off. Well, we're back down to break even for the day. That's a bummer. Tricky day. Tricky day. Up and down, up and down. Getting motion sick today. My account balances are making me motion sick. All right, so that was a pretty strong push down here. Let's see what happens. Back into the opening 15-minute range. Pulling down pretty strongly here. Just left that gap. It did not want to close it. That is so strange. So strange. Jeez. Rip down, rip up. Kind of curious to see how this candle holds, because we created a pretty strong gap down and immediately recovered it. Problem is, if you got in like way up here, your stop would have to be down here, and that's, well, I don't know, 80 bucks. Well, that might be manageable. This is not the type of trade I would typically take, but if we get a little bit of pullback here. All right, if we get a break up, we're gonna give it another try. Only because we have this gap up, like there's a gap up here. I mean, that is undeniable. We're also kind of oversold. So it could definitely come back up. See if we can get into the top of that gap. There we go. All right, well, here we go. We're either gonna get ripped to pieces or and this time we're going for broke, right? I want a break of that range if it'll give it to us. Okay, I do not like inside wicks like this because those like to get retested. We just had a 5-minute candle close, a very wicky candle after that rip down and recovery. Let's go. All right, we did take out those highs. I'm probably gonna move to break even, so we're protected. This could just chop up here and give us nothing. Kind of in it on the off chance that after this pull down, we do rip higher. Nope, no dice. All right, that's fine. Actually made a little bit on that guy. That's just choppy. It doesn't quite want to get up there yet for some reason. Creating we were 3 minutes away from the close of the 15-minute candle, which is going to be an inside bar, it looks like, unless we get a push higher right here. I just don't know. Don't know. I mean, if it doesn't want to go close that gap, it doesn't have to. And we're just kind of getting these impulsive moves down and up and down and up, down and up. I mean, the up seems to be the one that's winning though, right? Every time we get down, we get a bigger up. Down, bigger up. So that's what I see. May not mean anything though. I mean, if we end the day break even, that's better than ending the day with a loss, right? Could be worse. Nope, it looks like it wants to come down. Alright, let's get rid of this gap. It's not needed anymore, don't matter. Alright, kind of looks like we might be rolling over here. We're failing to put in higher highs. We are in fact getting lower lows, or lower highs. We still have kind of higher lows though, so until we get a lower low to go along with our lower highs, then I'll probably just sort of hang out here for a second. We did get a short cross of the 9 and 21 for what that's worth. If this were to wick lower and hold, we would be looking at a divergence, a long divergence. Is that 28? It's too slow. Can be glad I'm too slow, not sure. Yeah, I was too slow. I should have marketed into that one. That was... So we'll watch and see how this plays out. This is a potential divergence. Let's see if... See if it plays out. The only problem is we do have that short cross and we got to get through those moving averages. So, you know, after considering the lower highs, that does present a problem. So I guess maybe I'm lucky that I didn't get ticked into that. Still sort of hesitating here. I think if this really rips down here, it could really rip down here. Until we close below this candlewick, though, this is still a valid long entry because we haven't stopped out yet. Once sort of the initial entry would have been stopped out, I stopped looking at it. But if we settled in here, I would still consider going long, depending on how it plays out. As soon as we take out this low, though, that will no longer be an option, which it looks like it's going to do. There we go. Okay, so we took out the low. So either we continue to flush or we bounce back up. If we bounce back up because we took out the low, I would say that's a little bit bullish. But if it totally fails and we hold lower, then those bets are off. Definitely appears like it could be rolling over. $30 more minutes. Yeah, I probably should have stopped up $100 in these accounts since we're trying to bring them back to life. But we didn't, so here we are. Oh, goodness. Come on, market. I mean, that was a close lower, so wait and see here. Five-minute candle is, I don't know, kind of indecisive. We still have a minute left on this guy as he continues to push down. 15-minute chart. We're breaking below the prior candle's low. Remember, this was an inside bar. So this is kind of, I think, test here. If we fail this, probably moving lower. If we turn around from here, then it could come back up, but certainly more bearish than bullish currently. All right, well, there's a reaction up. So we did break above this guy. See, we're kind of in this like little downward channel here. It's kind of a very tight channel. Don't really see much on this side of things. It's either way up here. Not really sure, but I can't really draw one there. Unless you come all the way down here. What does this look like? That's way down here. Now that one's kind of interesting. Starting here, we test kind of the bottom, break lower, we test higher, we sort of follow it along here, and we're right back at it now. So it's kind of curious. Let's watch this guy. Yeah, I mean, that matches this trend we've got going on here. I would say if we break up here, possibly that's where we go. I'm just watching this 15-minute chart, and we poked below the low of that prior candle, and we're kind of holding there. So unless we kind of fell this, all right, this might be it. All right, that was a divergence right there. So long wick on the bottom here. I don't know. Yeah, there it goes. Well, that was the signal, that final test down, and then boop, hop back up. So now that, does it hold, or do we just wick back down? One of these times it's going to break out and it's going to go somewhere. It's going to go up or down. Right? I guess those are the two options. The trick is, do you have the patience to wait for it to happen? Big wicks on the bottom of the 5-minute chart right now. Yeah, 15-minute chart is showing, it seems kind of bullish right now. Still have almost 7 minutes left on that 15-minute candle, so there's still time, but yeah, this was where I wanted to get in, right here. Still hesitation there. Took out the prior 5-minute candle's high with 1.5 minutes left on the current 5-minute candle. Allergies are bugging me. Warm weather comes with, or warmer weather comes with fresh plants, and fresh plants come with allergies for me. All right, this was kind of this long bull flag. Oh wow, look at that on the 3-minute chart. That looks really nice on the 3-minute chart. Nice little flag here, pop. That's very bullish. And here we kind of go. That was the moment I was waiting for. I just didn't recognize it quickly enough to jump aboard, so we wait. There, we have a cross up here, so let's see if we get a little pullback. That's a pretty strong push up there. What time is it? 10:40. We have 10 minutes until the 10:50 algorithm, the last 10 minutes of that hourly candle. Current hourly candle is green, but it's got an equally large top and bottom wick. So see how it closes here. Still have 20 minutes left, so still some time there. Is it going to close up into the gap? That's the question. That is the question. Yep, still moving up. No pullback. There's no real pullback. Ah, boring. The hardest part about days like this is you have to be patient, but you have to be ready to go at the exact right moment. Otherwise you'll miss it because it'll chop. You'll get your move out of nowhere, and then it'll chop. And it's not really out of nowhere because it gives you clues that that's going to happen. But if you're not watching at the exact minute that it happens, there's not a tremendous amount of follow through. I mean, I guess, you did have a green candle close here, and it still pushed up. Even across these 2 minutes, it pushed up 36 points. So that's still, a worthwhile move. But at least for me, when it's choppy like this, I feel like if I don't get in kind of at the best spot, I get very uncomfortable, because if it pulls back, it puts me in a drawdown position that's deeper than I want to be in, then that's a situation I want to avoid, and that tends to happen a lot to me. Just like it did up here, get in too early, get stopped out. All right, same thing can happen if you get in too late, get stopped out. Kind of got to wait for those ideal entry moments. So right here, if we did get a pullback into the 21, I would look at going long at that point. But it would have to show kind of, some respect of that area. We'll see what happens. Not super optimistic with the current market, just waiting to see what it deals. See, at this point, if we believe this trend line, which I don't know that I do, but let's say hypothetically that we did, if this pushed up, it should get kind of up into this area, which is above that gap fill line. So that makes sense if it wants to. And if it does it before any kind of a little pullback from here, then I guess it'll do it without me. We are just above break even in every account except one. The one account that's negative is taking all the same trades, except that after the first trade, we increased it to 5 micros, and the next trades were losers. And so that's how that goes. So on the losing trade, it took a bigger loss than anybody else, and so that's why it's more negative than everybody else. All right, here it comes. Maybe. I mean, it is so close up there. Five-minute candle just opened, new 5-minute candle, so a little bit of a pullback on that initial 5-minute. That initial 5-minute move makes sense. Does the 30-second do anything? Nope. Yeah, I mean, it's just sideways. All right, that was a little hesitation, candle. Come on, pull back for me, pull back. Of course, at this point, a pullback could set up a lower high on the 5-minute chart, so. Should probably stop trying to guess what it's gonna do and just wait until it does it. Yeah, it's still rocking 100-tick 1-minute candles in gold. But if you can catch those moves, they can print, but that's it's a lot of movement. Of course, you cannot trade gold with Apex right now. They have disallowed metals. So no gold trading on Apex, but I'm watching it anyway. There it is, that like sort of hesitating peak up there, and then eventually or immediately getting sort of sold back down. Just a little bit, and then peaking back up, getting sold back down just a little bit. All right, there's the gap. So we've closed the gap. An NQ officially. There it goes. All right, so there's that move we were waiting for. It's exhausting. And an immediate reaction. Not surprising. $22 and a drop. Poof. All right, well, that was an immediate rejection up there. 35-point rejection straight off of that gap fill. So we had a 22.1 minute candle with a massive top wick right at that level. So definitely some profit taking up there. Either profit taking or stops being triggered or both. Strong push down 1 minute to the 5-minute candle close. See if that closes red. Appears that that's what it wants to do. We did create a new high. We did push down into the 21 EMA, and we are approaching the bottom. The stochastic is quickly approaching that 20% level, so kind of curious to watch this. Took out the low of that prior candle. Is this worth a try? Is this worth a try? We're at the green line and the blue line. I'd like a little more of a pullback, but that's a pretty strong kind of reaction. If we come down first, oh, it came down a little bit. If we get in this, I'll move my stop or my target just to kind of this area. I don't want, oof, I don't want my stop down there either. Huh? $47. Which, so if this gets stopped out, I'm gonna have some achy breaky accounts here. Oh, maybe I should move it up there, right? This may be the last trade of the day. This is 850 algorithm. We're gonna rock it up here. Maybe. I mean, we wicked down pretty hard last time we were up here. Hesitation for sure. Well, let's trail candles. No risk, no reward, right? That was a pretty green finish. Problem is we're up in this candle wick here, so we can get some kind of a little push. Too much hesitation, man. This is technically a higher high. I mean, sort of. Sort of, if you squint. And no. Inside bar. We wick off the bottom of the prior candle, then that's a good thing, but could just fell down there and end our trading careers forever. Yeah. Just don't love this area. That strong rejection. The only thing that kind of like is in the back of my head is we are just sort of choppy, right? So it's not really impulsively moving much anywhere, so this is a nice reaction off of here. We could get some follow through. Maybe overall uptrend, maybe. Or maybe we lose $32. Those are the possibilities, and there's the $32 loss possibility playing out. Well, I think we're going to be down half those accounts. What you gonna do? Oh, goodness. All right, break time. I'll be back. Then we'll wrap this. Okay. Well, down we come. Yeah, I shouldn't have been too optimistic with that top wick. I mean, there was definitely a reaction there. Although it is notable that this, I mean, there was a bounce for 13 points. So it's not like it didn't move up, right? All right, so we are back down to the gold line, top of the open range. Problem is, coming into the gold line after a stair step down like this is not what we want to see. And at this point, are we just gonna fell down? Let's see. We have 5 minutes until this hourly candle ends, and it's currently green, but it's got huge top wick, huge bottom wick. It's basically a, I don't know what they call it. They call it a spinning top. I'm not sure. All right, this is a nice reaction. I might try one more. If this loses, I might blow up all these accounts. This might be like a all or nothing kind of a trade. If it fills me. It did not. And it pushed. Well, that was rude. Well, what can you say? 20 points. 20 points lost. That would have been nice. Would have got me back into profit. I mean, at this point, I kind of want to just, you know, it's like you got to wait for a good setup. These counts are so near the edge. You kind of, it's like, you know, take a trade, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But, you know, you do this nickel and dime thing trying to make $5 at a time, and it's a slog, man. See, at this point, my super healthy account is now not so super healthy. Yeah, that was it. That was it. So coming off the gold line and to the top of the range with the stochastic oversold, that's where we got the bounce. We had a stochastic divergence at the gold line, bounce. Oversold at the range, bounce. So the bounces are happening. Definitely happening. I mean, you see, you can't really be mad at the market. The market's behaving just fine. I think today I was looking for it to do something it just did not want to do. That's all there is to it. I mean, the reality is all the accounts that I have left are still healthier than they were a couple of days ago. So that's not all bad, right? So over here we had kind of a deeper pullback, and then that's where we took out the daily high and closed the gap. From there we had a deeper pullback. So I don't know. Does this push us higher? Do we continue the grind upwards? Don't know. I think though that I'm gonna get rid of this trend line, and instead we're going to look at, what do we have here from the open? Since this was kind of an impulsive move down, I want to go with this one here. Maybe like that. Because we expected it here, here, here. So we have 3 touches here. And then up here, we kind of went through it. Respect, 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 respect. Yeah, let's go with that. So this for me would be kind of a target if I was getting in at the low. You know, if I was in here, maybe I hold up to this area. If I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive and aim for the stars, that would be the star that I would be looking for. All right, so we'll continue looking for stars, I guess. So 15-minute candle closed green. We have wicks on the top and the bottom. 5-minute candle. I mean, this looks kind of bullish right here, potentially. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if we continue to roll higher today, or if maybe this is kind of a top and we come back down and retest this initial gap here, maybe even down to the overnight open. Back to that equilibrium point on the day. We'll see. But until tomorrow, trade safe.